Let's start with Barbarian. We might want to throw up that spoiler sting. Because we're going to get a little spoiler in here. Yeah, we're going to be spoiler in here. So, it is a 2022 American horror film directed by Zach Cregger. Stars Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård. And here's when we get into spoiler territory, because he's not in the trailer at all, Justin Long. One of the producers of It from a producer of It, and that's why they got the Bill Skarsgård.
That trailer made me laugh when it was just like, from one of the producers of It.
Just one.
From a guy who was on set. Comes Barbarian.
So it's I'm going to give you the log line, and it's quicker than a hiccup. It's not here. The film follows a young woman who finds out the home that she rented via Airbnb has a dark secret. So the trailer starts off where she shows up. It's raining. It's not a great neighborhood. It takes place in Detroit. To quote Kentucky Fried Movie, now take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit. Not Detroit. But the whole thing starts off. She can't get into her Airbnb. She opens the door. Bill Skarsgård's there. Skarsgård. So he has that look. He's clearly a heel. He's burned into people's brain as Pennywise the Clown.
Yeah.
So I feel like this movie already started trying to lure people to set him up for the swerve just with the trailer.
Right.
And Mario, you summed it up perfectly. When you're like, the trailer, that's only the first 10 minutes of the movie.
It's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
And then that's it.
By the way, Adam's dying to talk about Pearl. Well, that's coming up. We're talking about that next.
Yeah, Pearl's next. I'm even going to put on my Gimmick glass because my real glasses got too foggy from the cup of noodles.
This is kind of an excellent cup of noodles, am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Pretty solid.
I'm digging it. They're actually, I was worried they weren't going to get, but I still got steam coming from mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're okay with these spoilers. We're also going to be talking about Clerks 3, and that one we're going to really tiptoe around because those are important spoilers that we don't want to ruin anyone's experience. But at this one, we did. We're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
So. It's good because it has, it gets it a little bit into Primal Fear. Like, she's more of a, Mario, would you call her petite? And then he's overwhelming to her.
He's just very tall,
he's
right?
very
Isn't
tall.
he like 6'6"?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
So just having that, and it's pouring rain, he's like, they call the number, they match it up. They did Airbnb and, HomeAway or Verbo pay for
one of the other services.
They pay for it because they called them out both by name. It's like, she's like, I got this house on Airbnb. Well, I got it on Verbo. I tried to call the number and it just goes right to voicemail. And then another one went right to voicemail too, and they matched it up and it's the same number. So, but again, they're setting you up for this swerve. So then she's like, oh, I guess I'll just leave. And he's like, well, it's silly. There's a bed here. Why don't you just stay here? And then, of course, she's nervous because, like, I'm in the middle of this neighborhood.
That's an automatic
Weren't you
no.
Pennywise?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can stay here with you.
And then he starts doing things like offering her drinks, and then she wouldn't drink it because she didn't see.
Yeah, I mean, that's an automatic no.
Yeah. And then he's like, you can take the bedroom, and she's going through his wallet. They're just all the tropes are there, just like setting it up. But then she goes to bed. And that's pretty much where the trailer ends. But then this is where the real movie begins, right? She wakes up and the door is open. And he's having like a night terror, like Homer Simpson against cobras. He's on the bed and he's like, cobras, cobras. He's in the couch and she goes up and then she scares the shit out of him. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, did you open my door? He's like, no, I didn't open your door. So one thing leads to another. Mario, am I missing anything here?
No, that's the first 10 minutes of the movie so
Yeah.
far. We describe everything from the trailer.
Yeah, and you saw a door close, so you know that somebody else might be in the house. So they make it through the night.
Wait, are we getting into spoiler territory here or not? We're going full spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, JJ,
So the thing about this movie is, if you've seen the trailer, you know what the setup is. You kind of know what it's going to be, to a sense. But there's a sequence, there's a cut where all of a sudden the movie cuts away to Justin Long for half an hour.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is going on now? And then you realize, oh, this movie is not trying to be whatever Hostel or whatever, like, kind of like underground monster torture movie. This movie's trying to be like Pulp Fiction. and it cuts away to a completely different story, which you don't even know how it's even related to what's going on until you do.
You do, yeah. And then he has like a good 30 minutes of his story, and then another big thing happens. There's a big thing that happens right before the Justin Long scenes that shows like that takes you out of like everything you just got set up since you saw the trailer. Something happens and you're like, oh shit, didn't see that coming. Now this movie, I have no idea what this movie's about. Now you feel like you went to see a new movie. Then the same thing happens with Justin Long. Big scene happens, ties it in with the first story, and then they have a time jump. And then they jump back to the 80s. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And this is all showing the house. Now the house started off in a dilapidated area in Detroit. When she was there for a job interview, she's like, you can't be staying there. So there's a bunch of transients, and they're all just kind of wandering around so you don't happen. So now we had 3 different stories. Like Mario said, it feels like Pulp Fiction, but they're tying them all together. But you're getting now, okay, this house was home to some kind of serial killer. But then you see, and he goes through all the tropes, the guy in the 80s of like, he's stalking a girl, he sneaks into her house as a repairman, he leaves the window unlocked, and like, okay, he's going to go back and kill her. But he doesn't go back, he go back and get her, but then he does something completely different with her that you don't expect. And so you go into, then they take you into the basement, which has another sub-basement. At first, all you saw in the basement was this hallway, and then it had an extra room with a dirty bed and an old camera. And then there's a fake wall, and then they go deeper into the basement, and then there's a...
That is a deep underground cavern in a house in Detroit.
Hats off to Justin Long. Justin Lin? Long, yeah. For playing the Hollywood scumbag. Because he did it well, because he's like, look at all this extra space. I'm going to be able to put this on when I sell it. And then it's like a deeper room that's got like a nest and it looks like a pile of blankets. And then there's an 80s video of a mother teaching you how to breastfeed your baby. And you're getting all into it and you're like, what the hell is going on down here?
And then you're like, you're 90 minutes into the movie until you finally see what's going on. They stretch it out for so long. And this is what's really cool about this movie, really brilliant actually. It's just like, it could have been a typical dungeon monster, people held captive kind of a thing, but they take that and just stretch it out for the entire length of the movie across multiple storylines before they show you what's going on.
Yeah.
Is there jump scares in this movie? I feel like there's not.
There's only 1 or 2. There's the one when you see, there's definitely a people under the stairs, another old 70s, The Unseen with Stephen Furst from Animal House. There was another one. The Boy did it recently with people living in the house, and then they kind of explained what's going on in Detroit and underneath. They had a good couple of fake outs. You know, they had the girl in the beginning getting chased by, looks like somebody that's like some homeless guy that's like running like, hey, lady. And it was a great fake out because later on you find out he was trying to help her. And
this movie is really built on fake outs. Here's the thing. It's like, you don't cast the guy who plays Pennywise as that character unless you're doing a fake out, right?
Right.
The audience already knows this guy is the bad guy, right? Yeah. This guy is obviously the bad guy. He was Pennywise. I think he was a monster in something else. But the whole time the audience is thinking they're just waiting for him to turn. You know?
Yeah, and that I fell for that.
And that creates a tension. Folks are just waiting for that. And they do that. That's on purpose. That's totally on purpose. And then you've got Justin Long, who plays the Hollywood douchebag, who gets pulled, comes into the story halfway through. And you're waiting for him to turn babyface.
Yeah.
He's set up as a heel.
Yep.
And you're like, well, he's going to turn babyface by the end and he'll get redemption. No, he doesn't.
And they even they brought you so far for that hot tag where he had the callback. He's just like, I'm not a good person. I need to start fixing my mistakes. And then he gets worse again.
Yeah.
So many swears in there. So, and then the whole title. So I'm trying to figure out what the title means.
I never figured it out.
It's the street. It was like the name, the address is like Barbarian, Barbarian Street, but it looks like Barbarian.
That's the address?
Yeah, that's.
I had no idea.
It's the street, but it looks like a word that's like Barbarian, but it's not. But it was. I mean, well done, Disney or 20th Century Studios that they snuck this gem in here. But wow. I think I think the word of mouth is really helping this one. Because again, you didn't really expect much from it. They didn't have a lot of marketing bucks.
Right.
And I think when people see this, they're like, "Oh, wow. Yeah, you got to select." Because Mario, you're the one that told me, like, when you go see this, make sure you don't read about it. And we're still not, we danced around the spoilers, but we didn't give you the big hits. So when
you're still not going to be able to put it together in your mind. It's just.
Yeah. It is something like, even if we told you, it's not something you might even be able to register.
It's something I'm the whole time going, wait, what?
It's all swerves. The whole movie is swerves.
Nice.
Even like when you mentioned the transient in the street, you get a swerve there.
Yeah, that was a great swerve.
You get a swerve on what the monster is.
Yeah.
Try to explain to me what the monster is.
I know, I can tell you that it's just like what it probably is, but it wouldn't register. And we were all expecting it to be Skarsgård. Oh, Mike was saying he was the villain in the Eternals. You were expecting him to be the heel, and that's the spoiler: is he's not the heel. I'm gonna try to do a body interpretation by. We were talking about the unseen of a spoiler. That's my spoiler. That's my spoiler for Barbarian. Like, subscribe, and share.